Hey team, it's your pal Sarah here with some exciting news and a favor to ask before we get into the episode. If you have not yet heard, Album Reviews is nominated for Best Music Podcast for the Chicago Reader's 2022 Best of Chicago survey. First of all, we want to say thank you. Thank you to everyone who nominated us. We are unbelievably stoked to be on this ballot with such talented people. If you want to keep the hype going, there is a link in the description of this episode where you can vote for us. Wouldn't it be fun if we were the stickiest music podcast, but also the best music podcast? I don't know. It has a nice ring to it. Please also make sure to check out the other music and arts categories. There are a lot of friends of the show up for nomination, and we would love to see them win and get even more recognition for how awesome they are. With that, thank you once again, and I'll let you get into the episode. Bye.
Drinking this album, listen to the blues. I think it would pair well, if only for you, 'cause it's album reviews. It's album reviews.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to Album Reviews, the stickiest music podcast. You're all in 7th grade, right? You just had history class. You have math after this, but right now you're talking with your unlicensed guidance counselor. What do you want to be for the rest of your life?
Podcast host.
That's not on my pre-printed sheet of all careers. My name is Sarah.
My name is Zach, and I have done some sloppy science in my lifetime.
Oh.
My name's Matt. I just wanted to say what's up to some old friends and glad to be here, yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm Michael, and I'm still having trouble making adult connections because I sleep on turtle bedspreads.
Been there, brother.
We are so stoked to have in the stew on the couch Matt and Michael from the Chicago band Nora Marks. Go check them out at Nora Marks Music on Instagram. They've got some shows coming up. One of them with Tommy Kessler, our sweet boy. Tell the folks at home a little bit about you guys, a little about your music.
Yeah, we have been doing this in Chicago for 6-7 years
Going on
now,
7
I guess.
years in May.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Me and Michael are brothers, and we started the band, and
I didn't know that till just now.
Oh, yeah. Surprise.
yeah.
so cool.
Yeah, it's a bit of a family thing, and then now we got our buddy Matt, and we're just doing the damn thing or whatever, you know?
I love
Yeah.
that.
Gonna echo those sentiments. We have been doing this for almost 7 years. Let's see. About our music, yeah, we kind of do, I would say, like punk-inspired music, but it's got a little bit of like kind of indie rock. It's not necessarily always just like straightforward sort of punk music, but we try to keep the energy high. And yeah, we're sort of undergoing an evolution of sorts right now. So I'm curious to see where we go with kind of the newer stuff we start doing. But yeah, right now we've just kind of been busy playing as many local shows as we can, and we're hoping, I think, this year to go on some small tours.
Amazing.
Yeah, and kind of like see what happens, when we do that. And we work. We're also on the Take a Hike record label, which is run by Bridget and Haley from OK Cool. So
Shout out Bridget and Haley. Love them.
Shout out Bridget and Haley, two Album Reviews alums.
What got you guys into music?
That's a kind of a fun
And
one
that's-
because we grew up together.
Yeah, that's so cool. You
I mean,
guys
my
are
answer,
both-
I'll go because it's really easy for me. Just him, really. Like, he had a ton of like CDs and shit in high school,
Who's older?
I'm 6
Oh,
years old,
okay.
man.
So yeah, he just had all these CDs and stuff, and I'd be playing video games on my PlayStation 2 and had a boombox, and he was like, check this out.
Hell yeah.
You did have a boombox.
Yeah, so that's
so cool.
how I got into all this stuff.
Yeah, for me, it was just like we lived in a really small town, and then on top of being from a small town, we lived like in a rural area, so we were pretty isolated. So for me, it was kind of just like finding interesting music on like Fuse TV in 8th grade, AFI, Taking Back Sunday, All American
Fuse
Rejects, that kind of
TV.
stuff.
I haven't thought about that in a long time.
I know.
Yeah.
It only lasted
What
a
a
couple
fucking-
years.
yeah,
It feels
what
like
a-
it just-
Awesome.
yeah, it was just perfect timing, kismet, because it like that little era didn't last very long, but it just kind of hit me at the right time. And yeah, I don't know, they're just kind of like my thing in school. I wasn't as into sports when I got older as I was kind of when I was younger, and so it was just kind of something for me to dig my teeth or sink my teeth into, and be interested in and put forth some effort into. So it's just kind of like been what I've been doing since 15, 14.
Fantastic.
We love it.
Sounds like it's going good. Yeah.
Finally, yeah.
Yeah, it only takes 7 years. A 4-day tour lined up. But hey, we're doing it.
Love that.
Living the dream.
Matt, will you tell the folks at home what we are listening to today, talking about, and what we're drinking with it?
Yeah, we are listening to Cheer by Drug Church, and we have a wonderful pairing of Miller High Life and Jack Daniels.
Do you want to explain? They haven't told us the reasoning for
No,
the pairing yet.
we know that there is a reason, and I'm excited to hear it.
We talked about this a lot.
Yeah, weirdly enough, we talked about landing on this way too much.
But for me, it's just like, I was just trying to think about like, what would the characters on this album drink? And I just couldn't find like a session IPA that really hit what some of these people seemed like they would be attracted to at the bar. And this really just seemed like the nice, it's like a nice version of a very low class combination here. So it feels like kind of fits with some of the themes and some of the
Yes, a working class
individual.
Salt of the earth.
Yeah.
We've got a drug church handshake here.
There you go. Yeah.
Beautiful.
The official, a shot of Jack and a Miller High Life.
Gorgeous.
We're gonna coin that right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna order one of these if I go see him at Bottom Lounge March 3rd.
We'll be there.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Hell yeah.
Those tickets are secured.
Let's go. Should we do the shot?
Yeah, we're gonna do a shot, guys.
We haven't done a shot since Malort. This will be way easier than Malort.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks. Yeah, Jack, not my favorite whiskey, but it just felt right.
Ooh,
all right.
I'm gonna chase that.
Yeah. That beer's
Are we doing the crack?
Yeah.
The official?
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, I just had.
Oh, that was crisp, Michael. Well done. You've opened a can of beer before.
I'm feeling that. When's the last time I had a fucking shot of Jack Daniels? College?
Yeah.
I like feel that in my teeth.
Yes, good. It's a full body
crazy.
experience. Yeah.
Like, I feel like I've done Malort shots and been like, oh, it's Tuesday.
I actually have gotten way more comfortable with Malort in the
I
last couple
know.
months. Yeah.
Isn't that terrifying?
It is.
Very dangerous.
Yeah.
How long have y'all been in Chicago?
I just looked at this. I was just talking about this last night. It's been since July, August of 2011 for me.
Oh.
Yeah, I moved up right after high school, so the summer of 2013.
Nice.
And we've
Nice,
lived
nice.
together
On and
3 or
off.
4 different times
Yeah.
in different places.
Yeah.
So.
What small town did you say you're from?
Rensselaer, Indiana.
Oh, okay. That sounds like a small town.
Yep.
It is.
I was gonna say, I
tiny.
haven't heard of
It's
it.
like 2 miles by 2 miles.
Oh, wow.
4,000 people.
Yeah.
I think it's like 6,000 now. Let's give them
Oh,
credit.
this
where it's due.
sprawling metropolis.
They're bustling since we've left.
They've got like 3 stoplights by now.
They literally-
there
I think
literally
you
is
literally
3.
could hit only about 3 stoplights.
Yeah, but I think there is 3 in the whole town.
If you time it just right, you can get green on all of them.
Yeah. Well, before we get into the album, Zach, it's my understanding that you've prepared a game.
Prepared is a loose word for it.
Oh. What would you say instead? Slopped together.
Well, I've half prepared, and then
Okay.
we have to prepare the rest of it together.
That's true.
Because there's a couple parts, and I want to make sure it works.
Okay.
Let me explain my reasoning for the game, and then we'll make up the rules
Cool.
together.
Okay. Hey, welcome to Behind the Game.
Did you all see the reason they went with the name Drug Church?
I did not.
They were creating lists of names that just sound Midwestern. Which is funny. I think they're
Yeah.
New York
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you do that? Like, I know I do that with my friends where someone says, I don't know, like some bullshit, and you're like, oh, that would be a good band name. And it's
Yeah,
like, oh,
absolutely.
stick around for,
Yeah.
I don't know, Left Sock or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a game like that, and they just stayed on Drug Church.
Yeah, that's great. That's
Yeah.
They're just
I like that they think it sounds Midwestern.
Yeah, well, you know how like Midwest emo just kind of
Yeah,
has like
yeah,
great. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's a
All
vibe.
those like the
Yeah.
portmanteaus of all the celebrity names.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then this is one of their subgenres is post-hardcore, yes,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of like just saying it happened after hardcore. It's got a little more melodic sensibilities and a couple other things going on. So I have crafted this game called Roast Hardcore.
Into this.
Yeah, that seems right.
Right,
Alley.
right on my alley. Yeah.
Perfect.
It's Sarah and I have concocted some fake band names that one might put on a list of Midwest emo sounding band names, and some real ones that are on the Wikipedia list of post-hardcore bands.
I read this list once a week. So.
Shit.
Actually tattooed on my forearm.
And so here's where I need the help writing the rest of the game. So there's point 1, if
Sure.
it's fake or real.
Yeah.
Point 2 could be if you can come up with like a roast style joke for the band name.
Like a Rodney Dangerfield roast, like a
Yeah.
Jeff Ross Comedy
Yeah.
Central roast. All right.
Yeah.
And then Sarah will be the judge if it's worth the bonus point.
I'm
or
gonna have
not.
to I'm gonna leave the roasting to you for the most
Wait,
part.
wait,
I'm
wait,
a bad
wait.
roaster.
Okay. I can be mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I like being mean. Okay.
Yeah. Just don't get us like in trouble.
Yeah, well, obviously.
Has that ever happened? Has anyone ever pissed off a band on your podcast?
Not that we're aware of.
We've talked smack on bands before.
Yeah.
If you need help with the roast, I will also give you a fun fact about the band if they're
Okay.
real.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
okay.
fun.
And you might be able to
Yeah,
come
inspire
up.
something.
I think that's great.
If you don't know the band already, you're gonna know some of these.
I looked at the list. You're going to know some of them.
Number 1. Is this a real band or not? Anatomy of a Ghost.
That is a real band. That band is wild. I used to be obsessed with Portugal the Man. That's that.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I didn't know that.
But
Look at you.
Yeah.
yeah, they're like, here, I got a roast, but it's not gonna be very funny because I'm telegraphing it too much. They're like a castrated Coheed and Cambria.
I love it.
I'm sorry.
That will get a
Listened a
bonus
little
point.
today. That is a good
The council
roast.
is pleased.
Accurate and funny. Is this fake or real? Airtight hang glider.
I'm going to go with no.
Yeah, that was me today. I was like, hey, that might be cool. Is this real or fake? Chunk. No. Captain Chunk.
Absolutely.
That's a real
That's a
band.
real band. God,
shit.
that's like some of the most Warped Tour shit I can think of. Like the font and all the exclamation
Were they like, that was like 2009, like bright color.
It was
Hot
huge.
Topic
Yeah,
shit.
bro. That shit was. I don't even know what they sound like. I mean, I do. It sounds like a Warped Tour band. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they sound like a screamo band. Yeah,
They're under post-hardcore.
they're on the
I've
never
Wikipedia.
See, that shit is like weird. That's weird to me. I
There
don't know.
there were a lot of these bands. I was like, it's a broad umbrella, so maybe.
Yeah. I mean, again, I don't really know what they sound like, but I
Yeah.
remember walking down the high school halls and seeing that shirt.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And that person had like purple Vans on. Or
Yeah,
something.
and a bright blue like shoelace.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a very specific.
My fun fact for them is just that they're French. They're from Paris.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. How did you go from Paris, France to Warped Tour in the United
Yeah.
States?
It's more likely than you think.
It's more likely
That pipeline exists, man.
the baguette and lime to
Yes,
Warped
yeah.
to 2000's Warped Tour pipeline. I think I have to award a roast just for that statement I said.
Sure. You want to give him a free bonus?
Yeah.
Great.
All right.
Making my job hell easy.
Number next. Egg hunt.
Egg hunt?
Yeah.
My inclination. I feel weirdly confident in this post-hardcore category for some reason.
Sure.
And that doesn't. I'm going to say fake just based on that. But
I just haven't heard of it, and I've heard of the other two, so I'm gonna say fake.
This is a real band.
I can see we were wrong.
And it is one-off musical experiment from the drummer and the singer of Minor Threat.
Oh, that sounds
shit.
kind of sick. Actually.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Kind of hits.
Huh.
That does sound cool. I did not know that was a side project. Like,
Bonus point?
Oh, yeah. Do we want to roast?
This is Ian MacKay. I don't know if I want to roast Ian MacKay. Seems like bad luck.
yeah, it's like fucking with the jeans or something.
Number next. Of Hamsters and Humans.
That's fake. That's fake. We don't talk rodents
Mice
right
and
now.
Men.
Zach said, of noun and noun.
Of Hamsters and Humans is a pretty good cover band name for that band, I think.
Did
I
you
do
listen to that
agree with
band? I bet you listened to them.
Mice and Men?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen them that Warped Tour twice.
Yeah. I mean, I was knocking the Warped Tour thing because I was very much a part of it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
we're allowed
Now
to.
that I'm away from it, I'm so much. My life is so much
You're
better.
just so much cooler now.
No, I just get. It's like, you know, when you're into something and you're like, this is so cool, and then you're like not as into it, and you're like, that was kind of lame, dude.
Yeah.
but like there's like I don't hate it or whatever, but I'm just
Right.
like,
I had great times there.
yeah, same.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, that was we went. You took me to my first show ever was a Warped Tour.
Oh, wow.
That's kind of sick.
Thinking back about it, like a bunch of teenagers like flailing their arms with like emo haircuts and tight jeans is a little lame. But when you're in it, it's fine.
When you're a teenager,
I still like going to like a hardcore show and seeing people flail around. And then like the next day, I'm like, what the hell was that? You know what I mean?
Bunch of silly kids.
Yeah, but I love going to it and being a part of it. So.
Oh yeah, Hot Snakes.
That's a real band.
It's a real band, yeah.
If our other Matt was here, he'd go off. He loves Hot Snakes. My wife loves Hot Snakes too.
Oh shit.
I
like don't have a roast, but I just every time I hear the band name, I think about when people say they had spicy diarrhea. They call it Hot Snakes.
That's a roast. Austin August Flood.
I'm gonna say no. It feels like too much of a combination of things. You love August Burns Red though.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no.
Yeah, that's kind of where I concocted that one from.
You know what I'm impressed of though? I'm impressed that we're getting the inspiration from the parody.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, not only are you sussing it out, you're sussing out like the root of the parody.
There are very few things I feel confident
I
about.
had a hunch you might know a lot of the band names on this post-hardcore list, so I was like, what jokes can I make that they might get? Stray Pussy.
That's probably a real band.
probably real,
There's a genre of pussy bands.
Yeah, there is.
It's a whole thing. It's like grandpa and dad bands. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
We're going to find the Wikipedia list for that one later. That is a Sarah concocted fake band name.
Well, here's the thing. I did not concoct this.
Oh.
So the ones that I sent you are from it's like, I don't know if it's
like
AI or like algorithmically generated. It's like 1,000 or some bullshit like fake band names.
Right. Yeah.
Like a Childish Gambino. Like
Exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
That's funny.
Why would I write the word pussy? Zach, you dirty bird.
I've never said pussy on air
I copy pasted it. Okay.
I said Command C, Command V, and that's it.
You would never hit
That is
those
the
letters.
extent of my contact with pussy, Zachariah.
That's a great podcast.
Nary more than keystrokes, my friend.
All right, number next. Falling in Reverse.
That's
Real-
a real band.
real band,
That's
Jesus
like a
Christ.
creep one, right? That's a creep one.
I don't know if they maybe
I
they
don't
were.
know.
That's another. See, this is like not post-hardcore. This is like the Warped Tour.
This is
This is crazy.
This is like what's that shit where the guy was like, "We're gonna backtrace you, blood on the dance floor."
Yeah.
That's all the same kind of shit to me when I see that.
Yeah.
All right, number last. I think we've only missed one.
I think
And
so too.
at least 100 bonus points.
Yeah.
Handlebar Weed Stash.
There's no way. There's no way.
I don't know, man. That does sound like it could be like a, like
What do
a
they sound
twinkly
like?
emo band.
Yeah?
I don't know. I'm gonna say no. I think it's no.
Out of like
but-
Boise.
yeah.
You guys get a half point because it's not a real band yet.
There we go.
That's gonna
My
be
brother.
That's me and Sarah's new band
Yeah.
name.
All right. Nice.
Trademark it. It's happening.
Yeah.
Make sure you stick around for Handlebar Weed Stash.
Get the Instagram handle now before this airs.
Yeah.
Yes,
oh my God. Lock that shit down.
Brilliant. Well, thank you all for playing Roast Hardcore.
Of course.
My favorite roast was the Hot Snakes bit. Now that we're nice and warmed up, should we get into the record?
Yes.
I found this band right before this album came out. I had been listening to the singer's other band, Self Defense Family, since 2013, I think. They had this album, Try Me, that came out. And I found them because my wife and I were really into this band, Restorations, and they would sort of talk about that band in like interviews and stuff as like just another band they liked. So I was familiar with them and had been listening to them for a while. And then I was on Spotify at this one job I had that was like not one of my favorite jobs. So I was like really into music at that time. So I was just trying to fill time.
You have Spotify, you said?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
No, I didn't work at Spotify.
I'm sorry.
No, I worked
Just
at
using the application.
But I guess that feels significant because I didn't have a Spotify until I started working there, and I was like, I need something to do all day. So I got a Spotify, and I found they had a song on a playlist, my Discover Weekly. This song, "But Does It Work," which is a really great song, and it came out on an EP right before this album. And because I recognized the guy's voice, I kind of like started digging it. But I don't know, I just fell in love with that song immediately, and I tried showing it to him. He didn't care for it. I don't know if he didn't care for it. He didn't really pay attention at the time. Sure. But I don't know, I just remember talking about it and thinking about like this band feels like if an algorithm designed a band for me at this point in my life, this would be what this is. It's just kind of combines all these different things that I like, you know, and it literally pulls a guy from a band I already like and puts him into a style of music that's a little bit more sort of in my lane, just in terms of like what I listen to on a more regular basis. And the lyrics are interesting and smart and kind of fun and funny. And I was listening to a lot of like indie rock at that point, and I think I was just looking for something a little heavier and kind of like trying to get into something a little bit more just punk oriented and kind of like get back into that world. I was kind of like, we were starting this band around that time. Or we'd already started it, but it was kind of like we were about a year in, so it was like getting a little bit more serious. And then this is the first album I ever listened to where I was talking to Anna from the band Pink Squeeze, and they were talking about kind of release cycles and the way things get released, and where it was like an album got kind of waterfalled, where like one single drops, and then all of a sudden, like, here's another one, and then all of a sudden, you've got like half the album, and then the whole thing comes out, and so it was like I was already like kind of really deeply into what was going on here.
Nice.
Yeah, and I just showing it to him and Matt. Matt already listened to them too, but we were trying to get him into them one night after a band practice, and I was just like, yeah, it's great. This guy's like he's like a white trash poet. You know what I mean? He writes these really beautiful conceptual ideas and like poems about just like white trash life, and I think that's where it started to click for him. I don't know when it really
I remember spending.
Yeah.
To throw back to our Damager episode with Dan, do you remember how he phrased it exactly, talking about how like punk music can kind of glorify the mundane?
That's
That
is
definitely fits here.
Yeah. So yeah, he's doing poetic stuff about work life. A lot of this album, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is a big theme in a lot of Matt's writing. He talks a lot about
yeah.
the work aspect of life.
Yeah.
The best part. My absolute favorite part.
So fun.
When I was listening to this record, I was reminded of a Bob Dylan quote.
Oh.
He's kind of, I forget what he's doing, if he's in an interview or something, but he's kind of like, he says this, but he doesn't really mean it. He says there's enough songs in the world, but he's like kind of giving advice to writers. Like, there's enough songs for people to listen to, but like, write the song like for the time and the people. And I think this record does that.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
It's like, and I don't know if this is the appropriate metaphor, but it's like if Blink-182 wrote songs that I care about as an adult.
It really like being older and listening to this.
Yeah.
You're like, oh,
It
like,
hits.
there's something here for me.
Yeah.
Exactly.
A meme I saw around when this came out too was like it's Weezer with hardcore vocals. You know,
Oh,
it's
hell
like
yeah.
it's just unique enough, but it's also not like it's not trying to like beat you over the head with how smart it is or how deep it is, and it's just such a rocker, man. It's just
and that's my favorite.
I've basically been listening to this nonstop since 2019.
Yeah, that's my favorite part about the record is it's like you listen to it and be like, oh, this is good music, and then when you like really listen to it, you're like, oh fuck, like. Okay.
Yeah.
This is intense, man. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. You're like, that's what I was like dancing to. That's what I was like. Oh yeah, this is really catchy. And like, I'm in such a good mood walking down the street. And you're like,
It's like I have a court date because my bills are overdue.
right.
But it bops.
Yeah, but it fucking bombs.
It does. I appreciated you like that you were saying that you were mostly at the time listening to like indie rock and stuff, because I feel like this is a good like, for lack of a better word, kind of like a gateway into like heavier, more hardcore shit. For like my wheelhouse is definitely more in like the indie pop kind of bucket. But this is like hardcore, like with hooks. Like it's like hardcore you can like hum along to. And I was surprised by how much like fun I had listening to it as someone who doesn't normally dip my toe into this kind of music.
Well, I definitely feel like, do you like The National?
I am not super familiar.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I always say like my two favorite like adult bands, like since I've been 22 or 23, is like The National and this band. And I really feel like they are just, maybe not just, that's like a reductive way to put it, but I get the sense that it's very similar in the way that like there's this group of guys that craft music that has like its own sort of idea. And then there's like this lyricist vocalist who has like their own charisma and presence that they sort of like lay on top of it. And it's like, doesn't always match necessarily the music exactly, but the way that the music is able to sort of evoke something out of them that it seems like they can't get elsewhere or otherwise is like very central to sort of the whole conceit of it. So yeah, it does feel like it's like an indie rock, which is like, in some ways what we, I think, maybe not even try to do, but just kind of do accidentally because of our sensibilities is like sort of like, we try to keep like a punk energy or like an ethos, but I mean, a lot of our music ends up being.
Yeah, it's really funny to me because I actually look at them from somebody that listens to a lot of hardcore music.
Uh-huh.
And I was just doing, I'm like, this is like the best kind of like adjacent hardcore thing for me, where I'm like, this is, they're killing this shit. Like,
Yeah.
if people that are in hardcore are listening to this band, this guy's like so fucking smart with what he's saying. You know what I mean? This is like so
Yeah.
much farther beyond so much other shit in like the hardcore world a lot of the times. And then I'm like, that's so sick that this is like two sides of the same coin for
Yeah,
me.
totally.
I did read that, like what you were saying, Michael, that the band writes and records everything, and then the vocalist comes in, right?
Yeah.
Do you guys write like that or no?
No. I would say we're starting to experiment and get a little bit different, but for the most part, I mean,
I mean, we kind of have, me and you have definitely sat down and wrote lyrics to music together.
yeah.
But it's always like a tandem. Or Michael will have lyrics and then we'll all kind of write music together.
It's hard for me to write on my own, to write music without lyrics or some kind of like melody or concept present. So a lot of stuff that I end up kind of bringing to the band. But then, I mean, our song Final Form, these two just wrote the music to that. Mm-hmm. And then we sat on it for a long time and we kind of like let it evolve over time. And then eventually Matt and I wrote lyrics, and then the other Matt sings it. So it's like, that one really is like a huge group process.
Cool.
In terms of like,
It just depends. I mean, we all play instruments though too, like while we're on stage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that the dynamic of like just having somebody come in with it, you know what I mean? It just naturally doesn't
Because
exist.
everyone's got all that in their
And
in their tool belt.
We're
right?
really
Yeah.
annoying because we go on stage and we're like, we need 4 microphones. Because all like somebody's gonna sing a song.
yeah, if we play small enough shows, we have to like bring our own mic stand.
Yeah, it's just wild.
We're like,
We're like, what are you doing? I don't know. We're doing it.
So Grubby, track number 1. I do not know why it's called Grubby. Does anyone know?
I just go through these songs. I don't know what all these songs are, why the titles necessarily. It's definitely a thing. I mean, it does in both bands and across all the albums where the titles feel right, but I don't know where they come from necessarily.
They do feel right.
Yeah.
I think the song is kind of, to me, I always think about it for some reason when I think of the word grubby.
You think of Mom?
No.
I do. She said it all the time.
I think of like waking up and staying in your fucking pajamas all day. Like that's grubby to me.
Oh, sure.
And that's kind of what I feel like this song, like the dude's like, is like sleeping through staff meetings and like just
2 months
struggling
behind on rent.
Yeah, like Thai takeout for Valentine's Day, like just grubby. He's just a grub lord. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, really down in the gutter at this point in his life.
Yeah.
Can we hear just a little bit of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that it like starts. It's got that one big like hit at the beginning, and it's kind of chill, and then I feel like the whole album at that point, once it picks up, it never really lets off the gas at all.
Yeah, and it's so quick. It's like 30 minutes.
I know. Yeah.
Yes.
It's just like a sprint. It's like a 400.
yeah.
I gotta say, I love our deep dives. I love our like epics and like our big iconic. Not that this album
Yeah,
is
you guys did the Monitor, which is like
We've done some long ass fucking
goddamn,
albums.
what a record.
Yeah.
also just 10 songs, but a very
exactly.
different.
Yeah, very different 10 songs.
I saw the runtime for this one. I saw there were like 90-second songs or whatever. I was like,
That's so refreshing to hear because like we have been like our songs have just been kind of short lately.
yeah,
And I'm like, I kind of like that though. Like,
yeah.
It's pretty impressive as a songwriter to like create this idea, this kind of mini micro universe, to just like say so much in a minute 40.
Yeah,
Right.
I remember being in high school and like trying to learn, just figure out art shit, like what I liked. And I always liked the idea of like limiting yourself and then working within confines and like actually being more creative because of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what a lot of the like shorter songs, especially on this record, you're like, damn, like what the fuck just happened? Like again, that was
Right.
90 seconds of my life, but my fucking head is like spinning.
Right.
But it's
You
like
know, like-
6 verses and this whole idea of a
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
You know exactly how they're feeling.
You've done like a lot of emotions in 90
Yeah.
seconds, and that's fucking crazy. You're like, whoa, dude, like slow your roll.
Well, I love this character. I love this guy in this song too. I mean, I don't know. I've never like owed people money, so that part of it's a little bit foreign. But like, I've been, when I was like when I moved here, it was to like have an office job, and I was like a copywriter, blog writer kind of thing. And like, I've definitely been in that position of like, oh, I went out with my friend on Thursday night and we didn't get back until 5 a.m. and I went to work the next day. And I was like, you know, I've been that like grumpy dude in the office. And also, I mean, I'll be honest, I have 2 kids now and they're both pretty young. And we've been what are we watching? Like binging X-Men lately. And I'm just like, man, I'm not growing up. Like I gotta move on. I need something. I need like a Thomas Pynchon book or something.
Are we ready for the next one already? I mean,
Yeah.
it's a 90-second song.
one, like-
We could spend 90 minutes, 1 minute per second.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that depressing. It's like that depressing. That day
Right.
after drinking, that I owe somebody money. I woke up late for the meeting. We've all been there.
Right.
I've been there 100 times.
I've got a stain on my shirt.
Yeah.
And my tummy feels bad.
Yeah,
My
I woke
tummy
up.
feels bad.
I woke
feels
up. I caught
bad.
the bus. I finally made it to work on time. I really didn't want to come.
Yeah.
I had a hot dog and I got mustard on my shirt now.
Yeah. And I
like, you're
still
just
have
like-
to be here for 5 more hours.
Right.
Yeah.
And then everybody's just kind of like
we,
and you're like me.
And fucking Carol in accounting is like, how was your weekend?
Yeah,
and
and
you're
you're
like, I have tinnitus, Carol.
Yeah.
Like,
You're like, well, my 2 days of freedom were great, but now
Yeah.
I'm back
Yeah,
here,
yeah,
so
yeah.
quit talking to me.
right. Like, I'm here now.
Yeah.
What do you want me to say?
I want to be hanging out on my bedspread again,
Yeah.
like, with Batman and
Yeah, can we blow up Matt's spot and talk about how he always jokes that he literally has a Batman pillowcase, the same one,
Yeah,
the
he
same one my
does.
4-year-old has.
He does.
So every time we talk
Yeah,
about
so this is like
song,
also fanatic to the band. Like, we're all like this. We're all the exact same way.
The opening track felt sick. It felt like, I don't know, like, it kind of felt like, and maybe it's just because it was the opening track, but I was sort of picturing, like, this, like, title sequence of this, like, schlubby dude. Like, just sort of, like, cuts of him being, like, asleep in a work meeting and, like, on his turtle bedspread. And, like, just being kind of a schlub around town.
They do have like a really weird video for the 3rd track, Avoidorama, which kind of has that vibe to it.
Excellent.
But it's a pretty weird video. So I would say watch it with caution, but it's good.
Is the guy from Fight Club kind of like a good example
There
of
you
this?
go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually.
That was a pretty strong reference to a popular movie.
It was good.
Don't you think?
Beautiful
Don't you think
segue.
That was a pretty strong reference. Strong reference.
Oh my
Track
God,
number 2.
you're so that went way over my head. This one was kind of crazy, also lyrically.
This is I was reading The Genius on this today, and
Yeah.
actually he already told me about it, so it wasn't like super new to me. But that this was like a true story, which
Yeah.
is like a pretty unusual thing I think that he
Yeah.
does. But I actually have a friend who did this, who he was like a cool kid. His parents were pretty cool, kind of like ex-hippie type people, and he's an artist now out in Oakland. And his sister lived up here in Chicago. So when we were in high school, he came up here to live with her for a summer, and I remember him coming back and talking about how he had taken work off Craigslist, and he literally just did that thing where he like sat on balloons. Old men would like film him sitting on balloons.
Oh.
Holy shit.
Wow.
Sorry, I don't know. Maybe I doxed him a little too much there. I didn't say his name, but yeah. So that's what I always think about when I hear this song.
Yeah.
Is that story.
Just getting yourself in weird
Sitting on
situations.
balloons.
No, this one was crazy. So it was like, it was sort of drawing from the singer and lyricist Patrick's experience in his like early 20s doing some nude modeling and sometimes
Oh.
ending up in situations where I think he said like he would end up a little more nude than he wanted to be. And he was sort of thinking about how people have like negatives of,
Yeah.
of his like 20-year-old penis.
Yeah, it's wild. It's like
Yeah.
it's more sad when you know that it's real and you read it. You're like,
Right.
oh. It's like he was
It's like,
all
dang.
just self-deprecation, fight picking,
Like
phase.
dong.
Right.
Yeah.
Just pissed and naked. You know, like that sucks. What a weird time. Like, it has to just be such a fucking tough year or two.
Yeah.
I feel like part of this song, I don't know, how is there jumping around? Are we going too far? If I just
No.
kind of okay.
Yeah,
I feel
go.
like he says something about later in the song about like when you scream for money, and I feel like there is this element where I'm sure, especially, I feel like he's been doing this a long time, especially even when this album came out, like where he's probably starting to feel like, oh, this is the same kind of thing. You know, he's just you know, you are just kind of like performing for people and like burying yourself in one way or another, and like leaving yourself at their mercy, which I think ties into some of the sort of like later themes in the album. I do think it's interesting. I'm sorry, I'm gonna just ramble a lot here.
No, yeah.
I think it's
please.
interesting. These first 2 or 3 songs, but really these first 2 songs, I feel like do set up a lot of like what kind of become the overarching themes of the album. But yeah, this one is just a bopper. I mean, I love the way it starts too, with like that. It starts out really like nice.
Guitar is so pretty.
Yeah, yeah.
Pretty's not the right word for it. That's not masculine enough.
No, but it is pretty. That's what it is. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, is it post-hardcore? Do you guys like post-hardcore? You like indie rock more?
Yeah, I listen to a lot of
That's
post-hardcore.
my
Yeah.
zone.
What are like key post-hardcore bands for you?
Recame as Romans, maybe.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that's probably more your area.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie to you. I picked so many Warped Tour bands because those were the bands I was into for
Are you into
so long.
Yeah. Are you an Under Oath guy?
I've seen them a couple times. I like Under Oath.
I got a
They're
nice
a Christian band, which is wild. to me.
They actually are
Yeah.
very not Christian.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Just like every
They
Christian
were.
band. Just like every Christian band in 2008.
Christ,
2012 came around. They're like, that's a fucking joke,
Actually,
by
no
the way.
thanks.
We're not really listening. The Devil Wears Prada did that.
Yeah, because I remember
Under
they
Oath
were a
did
Christian
that.
band.
Fucking,
Yeah.
Thrice did that.
Thrice did
and
that,
maybe a
yeah.
slightly more
Thrice,
sort of
I
like.
didn't know that.
Yeah,
Oh,
they were
yeah,
like
yeah.
very,
Well,
very...
She Burns is man. Like,
Yeah, it doesn't. The intro to the song feels more indie rock than post-hardcore to me, for sure. Like the way it
There's a couple songs that really gave me Taking Back Sunday vibes.
off this album.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Is this one of them or?
No, I'll get to it. I'll
Okay,
tell
cool.
you.
Yeah, yeah. I love Taking Back Sunday.
Oh,
even
so
though
much.
it's incredibly embarrassing, maybe to say so.
Is it?
No,
I
they're
said it
awesome.
very
No.
proudly.
I wear it proudly.
Okay.
I think
As
I've been told it's embarrassing to wear it so
This is a
proudly.
private conversation. No one's gonna hear us say it. So
Right,
that's
right.
that's great. Well,
Only fucking schlubs would say they don't like Taking Back Sunday. Like, come on.
You hear that, all you schlubs out there?
Yeah. That band did so much for so many fucking people.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Piss off.
Yeah.
It's fine. We're fine. They're great.
tell me if this sounds like Blink-182.
Ooh.
Just tell me if I'm wrong or not. That's all I
Okay.
want.
Close my eyes. Okay.
I don't know what effect
Yeah,
that
I
is.
feel it
I don't
is.
know how they did that.
Right, when you put that, here's what really hurts my soul about this is we actually just bought Michael a flanger pedal because we love how it
That
sounds
sound.
on this. And, yeah. So now I'm like, fuck. This is like we've been sitting here like so stoked about this fucking flanger pedal.
It's a good sound.
It is a good sound. That's hilarious. Though.
Oof. Yeah, it does sound like Blink-182 a little bit though. Just that bit.
Just that one little.
Yeah, it really does.
It doesn't come back for the next 22 minutes.
We'll connect this. What I love about this album is they do so many little bits. They do a thing that I feel like I wish we did a little better sometimes, which is like have a good idea and just do it once and move on. You don't need to. Which is to go back to the short songs. Or something my good friend Bridget from OK Cool has said is like sometimes you got to just let a song just happen and then it's just a feeling you had once and then you just let it go. And like you don't need to. You have a good bit. You don't need to do it 6 times. It's fine. Just do it once. That's all people need. And then it's memorable and you get to do a whole little clip on a podcast about it.
Yeah. Good job,
so
Drug
meta.
Church. We notice.
I've watched a lot of Community, dude.
Notice.
When I first read this title, the next track, I thought about Futurama.
Sure.
There's no connection, but I like the word Avoidorama a lot.
It's
Yeah.
just an awesome. Yeah, it's a great title.
Yeah. This was the first one lyrically that I was listening to. And I was like, check.
Yeah.
And I was excited to talk to you all about this because I feel like this one, and I don't know if y'all feel this way, but I am a deeply introverted person.
Yeah, at the root of all of it, always, yes.
deeply.
that true?
And what?
that true?
You're both very personable.
Yeah, dog. But I think it is really interesting to listen to a song with lyrics about like kind of wanting to avoid being a part of the scene that you're in, you know? Kind of that feeling that you get where you're like, no. I want to be anonymous and invisible tonight. I am in my cave. I am in my boat that I stole. I am drowning in my own depression tonight. Please let me be.
You're in your fortress home, barricade the doors.
Yes.
It just speaks to just like, it's just hard sometimes, man.
Yeah.
Like, I've made so many like great friends and people that I love, but again, like every time I go to a show, I'm like, I want to be there to support people and support my friends, but sometimes I'm like, fuck, like I don't know if I have this in me tonight.
Yeah.
I'd put my head in an oven right now. Sounds all right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's tough when it seems like so much of succeeding in, especially like a smaller, like more local scene, so much of it is like showing up and fucking kissing babies.
We've been
and
talking
shit.
about this so much.
That's how you make a scene, right?
Exactly.
Like the foundations of being in a music scene is caring about each other.
Yeah.
And going to shows and selling out rooms together.
Yeah.
And I fucking love doing it and I fucking love being a part of it. But man, it's exhausting.
Yeah,
right? Like,
totally.
Nope. Everybody thinks like, oh, you went to a show last night, dude. You just had a good time.
Mhm.
I'm like, you know what? I did have a good time, but like that's like a whole thing I had to do on top of 5 days of shit that I have to do.
Right.
Yeah.
On top of just like doing my fucking laandry.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which is like, to me, that's a whole ass fucking thing.
And like
Or,
washing my ass.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
cheating
like
myself.
I gotta like, I'm not showing up to the function smelling like shit. Like,
Yeah.
I had to shower before this. I had to work before this.
Yeah.
And then I had to go socialize and spend the money on the beer.
I know.
And then buy the friend a drink.
Uh-huh,
And then it's a whole
uh-huh.
thing. And then I'm like, damn, do I want to do this forever? And I'm like, I think. So
Yeah.
so yes, we are. But God, sometimes it's just like, man, this is tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. It strains people more than they let on. That's the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
If it was easier to talk about and just not feel guilty, being like, hey, I can't make it tonight because I don't want to.
Right.
But you can't say that and you push yourself. You know
Right.
what I mean? And then you're
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I definitely feel guilty all the time.
I hate when I can't go to shows. I hate it.
Especially
Yeah.
in the city of Chicago, because there's like at any moment in time, like 6 shows I
yeah.
want to go
Right.
to.
Yeah.
Most weekend nights, there's like 3 shows I would
Yeah.
go to.
And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
it's like
It's
the
so
Tuesday
like-
night, the Thursday night.
Yep.
But yeah,
And then
you
you're
know,
like, shit.
I'm working 40 hours. I'm
Right.
doing a comedy podcast.
Right.
Cat.
I've got a cat.
I mean,
And you just have this cozy ass apartment. I mean,
Thank
it would be hard to
you.
leave.
do you want to be
I don't
at?
ever
Yeah.
want to leave.
Why do you want to leave the fortune?
The home fortress.
I absolutely get it. Yeah, that's the problem. The nicer and cozier you make your house, the harder it is to leave.
Yeah, the better vibes you give yourself, then you're locked into that.
That's
Yeah.
why
I've done it to
periodically.
myself. I've nested too hard.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
I've nested.
That's, I mean, you've seen, I live
That's why
with
we
him.
just get rid of
So,
a couch
Yeah.
every once in a while. So our house
Yeah,
is
there you
horrible
go.
to be in.
There you go. Yeah, just throw it out the window.
That's the life hack.
Can we grab the chorus on this one? Because
Yeah.
it is very hummable. It's way
Yeah.
it's way more melodic than you would think coming out of so much heavy music. Yeah.
Can I just gush for a little bit about?
Yeah,
this?
please.
This guy is like a vocalist and a lyricist.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I think I love about this band specifically of his, and what he does in this band is like the way. I feel like I've listened to interviews with him, and he talks often about like his own like sort of insecurities or limitations as a vocalist. But I think what he does really well with this band is like, rather than just be a good singer, he does this thing where he suggests what a melody probably should be, and then just sort of ignores it, but in a way where you understand. Like you kind of get, well, like you were saying, like this is catchy, but like I don't know, obviously this is not like if he was like in a class with some professionally trained like teacher, it might not go over so well. But like you get what he's kind of.
It reminds me of the time we were in the studio, and Tony told me, "Why are you doing the drum fill like that?" And I said, "What? This is how I do it. This is how a drum fill is." And he goes, "No, we want people to be able to do it in the air, dude. Just do it on the snare. Just simplify it.
That's
Once everybody can do it, they're all gonna love it. It's like that same kind of thing where it's like,
Oh yeah. It's
almost everybody can sing Drug Church. Like
Yeah.
you can. It's there for you.
Yeah.
Sorry to steal,
no.
thunder
Yeah,
there.
just,
really
just do
did.
a splat boom Debbie boom.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because everyone knows what that is and
Yep.
what it feels like.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
And
He
then
does
it's
that as a
like the
vocalist.
raw, like, why is singing fun? This because you can do this, right?
And
like,
you can do, they do there's a lo-fi weed pen song where you can, what the melody is. You can plunk it out on a piano, but what he does, he delivers stuff. So you don't lose. It's he's able to evoke the melody without being stuck on it, and it doesn't lose the emotion or sort of the intensity of the song at all. And I think that's I think it's an undersold or underrated aspect of this band. And then as a lyricist, I just love this he's just bouncing back and forth. It's he's in the party and he's out of the party. He's yeah, I hear your story. All right, I'm gonna go home now.
Yeah.
I hear your story. And it's and he does this sort of patchwork thing where it's you're kind of everywhere all at once in this song, and it really probably is what it feels like. I feel to be in an uncomfortable social, not even necessarily uncomfortable, just one that you don't care about.
Where you're just bouncing around.
Yeah.
So yeah, just to do that for a minute. That's all I got.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good thing because it does kind of feel like you're kind of being in this song. You're kind of being tugged by your buddy who's oh yeah, come on, and then you're being tugged by this buddy who's oh my god, I missed you, and then you go take a bathroom break and you're oh my god, I'm having a freak out. I need to go home and sit on my laptop.
I'm overstimulated.
Yes. And I've just never heard that so in such a relatable way.
That's a great way to
lyrically.
say it. Yeah.
Well, I've also done the laptop nights, where you don't go out on a Saturday and everyone's kind of doing stuff, and I'm just what am I doing?
Most of my life, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, just fucking around, watching MMA clips
Reddit
or something.
Exactly. I do love Michael's wife told me that recently that she thought the lyrics of the song were depression. Homie, stay in. And I was yo, I kind of love that though.
I kind of want that prostate shot pillow.
Yeah, right. Depression, homie, stay in.
Stay in.
That's
I really. Hey, give yourself permission.
Yeah. I wish I had enough knuckles to get a knuckle tattoo of that.
That sounds like something my therapist would say to me. Depression, homie, stay in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I kind of love that line.
Shout out Amanda.
Man, if I had $1 for every time I heard that story.
Ooh,
he's good.
Zach!
You should do this for a living.
We should do this for a living.
Someday.
Maybe one day.
If you're listening and want to sponsor our podcast.
Miller High Life.
albumreviews@gmail.com.
Welcome to Space. Sorry. This is the only ad that I know.
Cameron,
The way we
everybody
actually
does.
use
Sorry, I didn't mean to roast
for
you.
free.
Space has not sponsored this, Cameron. Please bleep
We give
every time
them
out.
money.
Yeah, bleep it out.
Bleep it out. We're gonna keep all this in, but bleep it out so they don't know.
I think he's actually done that before.
Yeah. What does Sharpie on the tile mean? Does anyone know?
Sharpie on the tiles, the bathroom, man.
Yeah, but
Yeah, you're drawing dicks on the wall.
Oh, okay.
You know,
so
you go
it's
to
graffiti.
a shitty bathroom.
Ah,
Yeah.
I see. I was looking way too deep in that. I don't know why.
Well, because listen to the first 3 songs and you're whoa, this is heavy, and then it was just it's that.
Okay, Sharpie on tile. Is like someone drew a dick in the bathroom.
Yeah, or just
I've never done that.
that's a lie, isn't it?
You just made a lying face.
They don't know. They can't see my face. This is an audio medium.
What if you said the phrase white trash poetry earlier? And I think this song is a really excellent example of that.
Yeah, maybe I love this album because I have so many stories that remind me of it. But this is our shitty basement. We just got married, Roscoe Village apartment, where the dog tore into all the walls and we had to
That sounds relatable.
I have such a similar story in Roscoe Village where the dog tore down all the blinds.
Yeah.
It just happens to people in Roscoe Village, I guess.
This is a weird song. This reminds me of kind of growing up in Rensselaer because it says, what is it? There's an energy in poverty you can run from, but I'm not even hiding. And it's because when you grow up in a small town like that and there's no money in that fucking town, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So the people that listen to Coheed and Cambria or Thrice or these people that are the only people that you know how to relate to because that's the shit that you're into, oftentimes didn't come from money. And you go to their house and you're like,
Oh yeah.
This is, you know what I mean? Yeah, there is an energy to poverty like that, right? Like you're like this is like people that I respect and care about.
That I love.
Yeah, that I love and you're not hiding from it, obviously.
I mean, there's a lot of people.
So this song reminds me of that.
I feel like we know,
And also, it reminds me of, I used to work at a job where we had to clean with Clorox wipes constantly. So that line always fucking sticks with me.
Yeah.
I think about that all the time, even now. I mean, just with kids, I'm just like really careful about like we're trying to teach our oldest to like clean stuff, and I won't let him use the spray bottle. I'll kind of like spray things, and I'm like, okay, now you can like go and wipe it down. But like, yeah, I mean, it's crazy how much. I mean, I think about this all the time, especially before people thought about it or knew about it as much. And like the chemicals and the stuff that you just kind of put into your house, I'm just like, oh, this is crazy.
Yeah, and then,
like this
and
is
then, and then
the weapons grade bullshit. You know?
Yeah,
What I mean?
and then it's, the more poor you are, the cheaper stuff you buy, which is
Right.
the more chemical. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you become so far from a natural cleaner when you're going to fucking Dollar Tree to clean
Dollar
your
store,
fucking
that's
bathroom.
literally
Yeah.
the same,
You know what I mean? Like,
When I learned how many fucking like microplastics are probably in my bloodstream.
Bro, he gets so mad at me. I hate my guy.
I told you, this is my defense. I drink I go to 7-Eleven because I'm a rewards member.
Of course, of course. Big money.
No.
Okay,
Big
Rich.
slurp.
So they sell liquid deaths 2 for $3.
Uh-huh.
And everybody at school is always like, why are you drinking beer? And I'm like, no, this is water.
It's
and then
water.
they're like, why are you drinking out of a can? And I'm like, because microplastics?
Because it's infinitely recyclable. That's why we're drinking beer. They can recycle this can 1,000,000 times. Your water bottle is going to live for 8,000 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
So am I the problem or you?
That's
That's
so
valid.
funny.
That's valid.
Yeah, they just found microplastics in breast milk for the first time.
Damn it.
Oh man.
So it's over for us.
Sick.
We had a good run.
Well, we got the AI now, so it's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
It'll just do whatever we need.
Yeah,
it
the
to.
world will go on. We just won't be around for it.
Right,
There'll be
right.
something happening.
2 million years or whatever it is.
Yeah, it'll be like
Pretty
Tiesto
good.
songs will
Yeah.
be like generated on Google.
Tiesto.
Fucking wild.
I only vaguely know what the fuck you're even talking about, but it makes me laugh, bro. I'll tell you what.
I really dug the outro of this song. It's a minute 98.
I got you. 98. There aren't 98 seconds in them.
I probably
minute?
got dyslexic for a second.
That
No, it couldn't be
might have been the
68
case.
either.
No.
58? Were you thinking out of
What about
100?
58?
Could have been 58.
48?
Well, Cameron will fix it in post.
Cameron will
Thanks,
fix it in
Cam.
post.
Cameron.
I just like that part of the song a lot, and I can't really put my finger on it. I think maybe it's the double vocals.
Yeah,
It's-
it feels like that song.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it feels almost like desperate, but it's still there and it's still thriving and working and
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
existing.
Yeah.
Everything
You know
gets a
what I
little
mean?
excited at the end, and then it just stops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like a brand new idea right at the end.
Right, yeah.
And a lot of the form of these songs are like, and I wonder if it's because of the unique writing process, but a lot of the forms are like really neat, and I like
Yeah.
them.
I think the way that he sings over a lot of these songs is so fucking creative and like
Yeah.
sometimes it took me forever to learn all the words of this record because I don't know how to describe it. It was like almost not supposed to be there, but it made so much sense that it was there. Because when you're not playing an instrument and you're singing it like that and you have that kind of like ear for it, it's really creative stuff comes out of it. Like a rap artist or somebody. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Sure.
that's almost what it feels like more.
Yeah, he's got enough bandwidth
Yeah.
to just hone in on this
Yeah,
one.
he's really playing, just singing to the song.
yeah.
Yeah.
And not anything else. And it's awesome. Because you don't see that a lot with like post-hardcore stuff.
Yeah.
Does this guidance counselor have a license? Doesn't look like it. Not according to my calculations.
Well, you're spot on, dude. I think you segued the song so well in the intro because, man, there's nothing like a guidance counselor that has no idea what to do with you.
No, literally. Dude.
Well, you're not gonna be a teacher or a doctor.
You're not going to go
You're
into the
fucked,
military?
bro. I'm sorry. Yeah.
We can find something for you somewhere.
And that's why email jobs were created.
Email jobs.
But yeah, I had a bad counselor in school one time. Like, man,
Yeah.
like what not a good time.
That's a dumb job it's a lot of work. Maybe it just doesn't need to exist.
Also,
No
what,
offense,
a
guidance
weird,
counselors.
what a weird,
Pat Creed, I
what a
love
what a weird amount of pressure to put on somebody. Is like, well, you're responsible for these kids' futures.
Hey, the way they turn out, it's totally up to you.
You ever seen Harry Potter? You're like the Sorting Hat. That's like
So we should write someone a letter.
I actually might owe apologies.
Hey, on this podcast, we just figured out this is a bad idea. Every human does.
It just has to suck for both parties, right? Like,
Right,
Yeah.
totally.
What's funny though is in hindsight, like every emo kid in school was just trying so hard to like be like, oh, I'm interesting and smart and notice me and like, but you just got smacked down at every opportunity.
Totally.
It's crazy how that happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
except for art class.
Except for art class.
art
They
class.
fucking loved us in art
Yup.
class.
That is a safe space.
Why is it called guidance counselor? It's about just some terrible dickhead of a person, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one was this one was interesting because I was also trying to do the thing where I'm like, why is it called this? Like I was kind of doing that for all the songs. And for this one, I mean, we'll talk about the other stuff first, but at the end, it goes, here's your life advice.
Oh, bam. That's exactly what it is.
And then
yeah.
it just kind of like doesn't give any advice after that.
No,
So I'm like, wow, that's a shitty counselor.
Yeah.
I love it because I feel like it's telling the story of this like shithead,
Yeah.
and then the life advice is don't be like that.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
will you steal from
Here's
your
life
band? Will
advice.
you push somebody down the stairs?
Life is
Would you
process,
do
not
all this?
product. That's
Yeah.
the advice. The advice is that like you're gonna fuck up.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
The
get ready
advice
for it.
The advice is
Yeah.
you're not perfect.
Yeah, there is
And
this
you'll
whole
never be perfect.
aspect of this album that's like really against sort of like, I don't know, like internet activism, kind of like really pushing back against this idea that like you can hone in on the entirety of a person based on X thing that you read about them on Twitter or Instagram. And that some of these songs are more thinly veiled than others. And I feel like this one's kind of like a middle ground in that sense. But this is also like 2018, 2019. Like I feel like that was more of a thing at the time. But yeah, it's just sort of like, I feel like this song is in some ways like talking about someone, but also sort of like asking people to kind of like look inward and be like, yeah, you know you fucked up too. You know you've done something shitty.
That's what the whole bit is like. If you live long enough, you'll do something wrong enough
Yeah.
to say enough's enough. Like everybody's gonna have that introspection at some point.
And then he says it twice.
Twice.
He says the chorus 2 times.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what a choice.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because you're gonna, and that might be, you might do something today and then in a year be like, that was weird. Or
Yeah.
in 10 years be like, that was stupid of me. Or
Yeah.
you might go out drinking and fucking say something dumb or act like a fool and then wake up the next day and be like, fuck.
Yeah, you
Enough
just did
is
that.
enough. I do that. I do that constantly.
I think it's a little bit of like, it's aggressive, but it's also a little bit of just trying to like cut someone some slack. Cut everyone some slack, including maybe your guidance counselor who maybe like didn't give you the best life advice.
Yeah.
Right.
Who told you college was probably not in your future and you should take these dumb person
what they said
classes.
to you?
Did they say that to you?
Yeah, they put me in all the dumb person classes.
Hey, guess what? You have a podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to talk about some of the musical stuff in this one because we
Yeah.
get a couple really tasty bits.
Tell me more.
We get our like only guitar solo of the album, and it's like 6 seconds. It's just a line, but I like it a lot.
Just a little baby.
That's all we get.
Yep.
Yeah. This like is a riff an album. Like it's all about the riffs and
Sure,
like
yeah.
I feel like we've been trying to like,
I mean, they layer a lot of guitar solo
Yeah.
stuff. It's there. It's just not by itself.
well, and it's
Right.
also they never, it feels like I forget what his name is. Nick, I think, is the lead guitar player. He's never seems to be going for like, he's not trying to like wail or like blow your mind. It seems like he's trying to like serve the song and
Serve
like,
the song,
Well,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's what they all do separately on this record.
yeah, but
which
to
is why
Zach's
it's so
point, exactly.
fucking
Like
good.
if this is starting with the music, like how do you even necessarily always know when to throw in a solo?
That's
all you
true,
can really
too.
do is like, yeah, like, well, what serves like this riff, or
Yeah.
this kind of like concept.
Yeah, I wonder if writing music knowing that there's going to be like a whole nother thing, a whole nother big thing on top of it, if that changes how you.
Yeah.
You probably like prepare for it.
Right,
You're probably
you're
like, here's a really clean slate. Or
But
something.
again, he's like, it's almost like he's confined himself
Yeah.
to know that he can't just solo the whole song because otherwise he could.
Yeah, that's true.
And then he gets to kind of these ideas come out, right?
Yeah.
Trying to write lyrics over a guitar solo.
Exactly. Yeah, really. Yeah.
Here's the next cool bit I like. I really, really like the production value of this acoustic guitar in your left ear and this more like electric guitar in your right ear.
I eat the shit up, bro.
And I do that a whole bunch. There's a lot of panning. It's a great car record for it because you get a lot of good left and right mono in your car. Left and right stereo, I mean. Left and right mono is not a real
That's
thing.
not how it does.
So it does this cool acoustic guitar, electric guitar, and then it goes into like chef's kiss of a break.
Quick disclaimer, as of right now, all of our episodes are released in mono.
I want to see these songs live so bad.
Yeah, that's
They're
like one of
so
his
good,
best
dude.
vocals on this album. It's so
man.
fucking gnarly. I've been listening to this like obviously all week, kind of like getting prepped, and like every time that part comes up, I'm just like, God damn, like,
Yeah.
he goes for it. Yeah,
Before we jump into that,
Yeah,
next
can we do a
song,
little
can I pee?
break?
Yeah.
Yep.
great job, Matt.
And also Moose has joined.
Do you guys want to do one more shot before we?
All right, and we're back from a nice little bathroom break, and I ate a strawberry, and we also poured another shot of Jack Daniels.
Overpoured.
So,
Big one, yes.
Cheers to that, folks.
Cheers, y'all. Thanks
you
again
guys
for having us. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you for
anytime.
being here.
Sarah,
yeah.
tell us about this ambient. Oh, let's get the beer crack.
Making me talk right after I take a shot.
It's so good with the ambient going on.
So
I feel you.
we're enjoying, not only are we enjoying Jack Daniels and Miller High Life, we're also currently enjoying the audio stylings of Drug Church's lo-fi version, lo-fi beats to Drug Church 2 of the song Weed Pen.
It's so nice.
I actually really am soothed by this.
I want to play like a farming simulator game.
This is weirdly relaxing.
Yeah.
I do this with my kids to put them to bed. Sometimes we don't listen to real lullabies. I put on like Taking Back Sunday lullabies.
You shut up about that band,
There's
dude.
so many.
No,
of
this
these.
is allowed. This is a Taking
There's
Back
so
Sunday
many of
safe
these
space.
Under Oath lullabies, Modest Mouse lullabies, and then my
there you
kids
go.
off the newest Drug Church album that we're not talking about, Hygiene 2022. My kids love to sing songs off that album that are not appropriate for 4-year-olds. And there's this Onion article that's like, oh yeah, cool dad makes his teen daughter completely alienated from her friends. It's like him like forcing a Talking Heads record onto her. And I'm like, oh, this is exactly what I'm doing. When I buy him like a 1990s Ninja Turtles cartoon, that's what I'm doing.
They're gonna thank you in 15 years.
No,
Exactly.
yeah. I mean, I think about my mom. Like, my mom really liked Fergie when I was a kid. So, yeah, I knew all the words to My Humps.
Yeah.
One of the craziest stories
Yeah, that's-
I heard on this podcast was Danny from Calico Loco talking about how their dad was like obsessed with the Black Parade song. Just that song, though. Just that
that
song.
one song.
And I was like trying to imagine my dad who well, I guess like Bare Naked Ladies is kind of cool.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I'm also Bare Naked
Yeah,
Ladies
what would it be like if
family.
If Dad's the one that showed us Welcome to the Black Parade. Yeah.
Fucking Jesus.
And I think Danny was allowed to get the uncensored version.
Yeah.
And they felt so bad about
I
it.
don't know. I mean, I knew like Slipknot and Eminem though when I was like 8. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I didn't. What did I was scared of Kid Rock in like 5th
Kid
grade.
Rock
You were
is
scared
scary.
of Kid Rock?
I don't know why.
Fine.
Yeah.
He's just
Like
so
the
trashy.
person or the music?
Just that album cover with the deep red lights, and I was just like,
Oh.
this is too much for me.
That
I was
is
still
kinda
listening to
spooky.
like the Spice Girls and Backstreet Boys, and I was
See,
like, I'm not ready for
There we go.
Ba Wada Ba. I don't know. It seems demonic.
that song
Yeah.
fucking rules. Though.
I'm more of a what's that Sweet Home Alabama song?
Yeah.
Was that one?
Oh, where they
banger.
just like rip off Sweet Home Alabama in a bad way. They make that song worse somehow.
I'm so sorry, I derailed. You had a great transition to it.
This is no, we can talk shit about Kid Rock for 10 minutes. This is fine.
The lo-fi was only like 2 minutes long.
Yeah. This, if we want to get back into Weed Pen.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm so mad the song isn't called Weed Pen.
I know.
Because I would have grabbed my.
I wonder if it's like just a mistake. I've wondered.
No, well, there's no way.
I think.
Well, there's a lyric
Right.
about the weed pin.
So what he's talking about. Okay, so when I picture the song, I'm always picturing because I was this also came out when I was still hitting like pins.
Yeah.
I stopped doing that because it just felt bad for my lungs. It was too much. So now I just smoke joints. Like that's better. I don't know.
Like,
But
It is bad. They've been doing that since forever.
But I imagine like a coat with like the weed pin in the pocket, and you like hit it, while you're working.
right.
But I can also see with like the little marijuana leaf pin makes
Like
sense.
a little,
thought maybe.
yeah.
He's like in a lab coat and he's like messing up and he's like got long hair or something.
Yeah.
He doesn't really belong in the science lab.
Has gauges. The
Yeah.
guidance counselor's like, bro.
He's working in a lab with a little like lapel pin that says like 420.
I have so many good things to say about this song.
Yeah, this one.
At first
rhymes.
listen, I was like, what is a sloppy science? Is that an innuendo? I looked it up. I was like, is this an innuendo?
Is this like a phrase I don't know?
He's really talking about doing bad science that messed up the data.
Yeah.
Do you know? Did he work in a lab?
I think this is just a fictional story. As far as like a short story, I think this song is fucking hilarious too. I love the sort of pomp and circumstance that he puts into like you halted the march of progress, and this idea that like everyone that works at like a mid-ass lab in the middle of like middle of nowhere is just like we're working towards progress. Everything we do is very important, and it's like I love this idea of like kind of undermining that whole.
This song's crazy because I go between like loving and then also being like fuck this guy about the character, right? Because I'm like first time in dressers and you slip like that sucks. Like you're trying, you're getting a job, and then I'm also just like you're just like smoking weed at your job and like not doing anything. Dude, like, fuck off. Like, who
You're
cares?
sticking your
Like,
fingers in the
like what are you
petri dish,
doing? Maybe you shouldn't be high at work, dude. You know what I mean? But then he's like, "Fuck you, $12.50 an hour." I'm like, "Yeah, fuck you, stick your fingers in bitches." Yeah. So I'm like, I constantly am bouncing back and forth.
You see them live, and that part hits.
It hits, it fucking hits.
There's a
Pay
reason
shit
they've been
rates,
ending,
get shit labor, bitch. Yep. That shit rules.
These are really adult themes that we can all relate to now in our adulthood. I'm like,
Yeah.
You're mad about my thumb in a petri dish and you paid me $12.50 an hour? Get fucked.
You know what though? I'm from Wisconsin, where minimum wage was $6.50 when I started working.
What, do you know what it is in
Still
Indiana
is
now?
$7.25.
Yeah.
In Indiana.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh my god, $12.50, rich.
I know. That was like my first adult job.
Yeah, I mean, when I
I
first started working in Chicago, I was getting paid $9 an hour. You know,
that feels like a big deal. Yeah.
hell yeah, $9 an hour.
What was your first job when you moved to Chicago?
I worked at the Exchange. The one in Lakeview.
Belmont Red
Wow.
Line.
Yeah, the Belmont Red Line.
No.
The Chicago Music Exchange?
No,
No, it's like
no, because
there's
I
one in
have
Wisconsin,
no
too.
knowledge of anything. So even still, they're like, "Why do you want to be here?" I'm like, "I don't know. I like
I love playing
black
drums.
metal." You know, they'd be like, "What?"
Matt, do you think this is maybe not the best, but the quintessential Drug Church song?
You know, no, I
Oh.
actually don't. It has the most listens and all that, but I think that there's a lot of songs.
It's a little weird. It's long. It's really long.
It's long,
Yeah.
and it doesn't feel like it. I mean, here's the thing: it obviously captures their vibe because everybody likes it the most. But maybe this is me looking at it with like kind of being pompous about this band. You know what I mean? So for me, no. But if somebody was like, "I've never heard this band. What would you play?" I would 100% play this. You know what I mean?
I show them this, but it doesn't work. Those are pretty much the two for me.
So it's like one of those things where I'm like saying no, but I would also, that's what I would do. It's a fucking good song. It's a fucking great song.
I
Yeah.
feel like I
Great
connected
song.
with you guys a lot.
Oh, totally.
I'm going to bring it back to the Bob Dylan thing I said earlier. Like, this is like, oh, we don't need new songs. No one's ever wrote this song before.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
It's got capitalist undertones,
Yeah.
and the style, and like this is brand new. This is
Yeah,
Maybe they have.
That is like a good. That's actually a great quote for kind of a lot of the stuff, especially on this album that they do. It does feel like this is very new, very fresh, or maybe not new or fresh, but like put in a new way or given like a new perspective. Like you were saying, dude, all these characters in these songs are like very easy to dislike, but they're humanized in a way where it's like you're welcome to dislike them or feel how you want about them, but like you kind of like can't separate that from your own humanity and your own
Right?
sort
Yeah.
of, like,
It's
failings.
as easy as they are to hate. They are just as easy to sympathize
I've
with,
been
right?
Yeah.
I've been high at work.
You know,
what am I supposed to do?
Yeah,
Judge this
yeah,
person?
right,
You know what I mean?
right. That's almost what this record wants you to do, is judge them and then also put yourself in their shoes at the same time, right? Like you want to have that initial reaction, and then you want to also be like, but if I was them, and then you're kind of like, oh, yeah, everybody's human. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's okay to fuck up and put your hand in a petri dish and do, and just to just be an idiot sometimes, man, or just be grubby, or just be
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
because
it's
you do
cool.
fuck up at work, and maybe it's not always like ruining years of data, but you do fuck up, and it isn't.
Oh yeah,
embarrassing.
you might just ruin the day,
Yeah.
but you still ruin the day.
Is it on this song or is it another song that's like another person to avoid now?
That's
that's the first song?
That's the first song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
grubby.
About being behind on bills. Probably because you got fired from your lab work.
There
Because
you
you
go.
did
Honestly,
sloppy science.
You did the sloppy science, and now the results can't be trusted.
And now you're behind on your rent.
Do you either of you watch I Think You Should Leave?
Yes.
Now I think of sloppy steaks and sloppy science as like being one thing.
Mistakes.
that's a crossover.
Yeah, that's a weird crossover. But in my head, I'm always like, sloppy science is just a lot of water on this petri dish.
Let's slop them up. Please, no
That's
sloppy
literally-
steaks tonight.
I kind of love that.
My friend has a story, and we'll get back to the music, where he ate an edible and he watched I Think You Should Leave, and he laughed so hard he said he threw up and had to turn it He had to turn it off. And play inside.
That's a sloppy science, bro. That's the sloppiest science.
Bro, that's some fucking drug church shit. I got so high and watched a comedy show that I threw up in my living room floor. That's a drug church lyric. That's insane.
I had to like turn it off and go lay down and not laugh or think about anything funny.
That second shot of Jack Daniels. We're in a
It's
new
really turning this
stratosphere.
party
To
up.
the moon.
Can we do one more drop in from this track before we move on from
Yeah,
it?
dog.
I love, and I'm so amazed by the fact that he wrote all the lyrics after. There's this beautiful, like, little reprise of the hook, and then, like, the bass comes in, and I'm like, they didn't, like, how did they plan this? I want to know once I'm on the podcast.
Time in dress shoes, and you slip. New guy puts his thumb in the petri dish. Stained lab coat with weed pin. You got dragged off of the premises.
That's the thing about bass. Like, let me know how you feel about it, Matt. Like, even the kick drum, it's almost as important when it is there as when it isn't.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 100% you're right.
I would say this is the thing we're probably just straight up jacking from this band more than anything, which is like clever use of bass and like this band and maybe like sort of later the Lawrence Arms, if you guys listen to them, which is just sort of like, what's the point of the guitar? And it's the guitars should be there for effect in some ways, and the bass and drums are the song. Like, to me, that's where we're really
that's
going.
cool.
The bass and drums carry the song, and the guitar is there to add, to embellish.
It's ornament.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into Foam Pit. When I read,
Hey, that's not the next song.
She is
Show
right.
me your hall pass.
fuck me.
No.
Are you licensed as a hall monitor right now?
No. I'm not.
This is a fun one for us.
Yeah, fun story. We
This-
did an acoustic cover of this song.
Tell me more.
Yeah.
Well, that's the story.
Cool.
But this is a good example of like trying to listen to these songs and pull out the pop melody amongst the effect and noise and production of what's
Yeah.
going on.
Did you guys grab that guitar riff or did you strum?
Matt played the guitar riff. Yeah, not this Matt, other Matt. Sorry, other Matt played the guitar riff, but it sounds nice. I think we did 2 acoustic guitars, so he's doing that on an acoustic guitar, and I'm
that
playing sort of
rips.
just like chords. Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's a good song.
Is this living somewhere?
It's on YouTube. Yeah.
Link in
Link in
description.
description.
Yeah, this song to me is sort of like the thesis of the record. I feel like a little bit. It's kind of like all the characters up to this point sort of like banding together to be like, who do you think you are? You're judging us. You're coming at us with this, and like, what do you have that's so much better than us? Obviously, like most of us probably aren't in group chats with Klansmen, but like, there is this level of like, what's the glass houses? Throw the first,
I love it because I just love the idea of like, you're not better than me in every way that you think you are. And so shut up and let me like learn and be myself and like figure out shit,
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing, man? Like,
yeah.
Aren't we all doing the same shit, trying to like, maybe not everybody, but you know what I mean?
Like,
like,
down to the title though is about self-appointed cops.
Yes.
And it's about this was also a thing that like in the last, whatever this came out in 2019, in the last like 5 years feels like it's been just the story of sort of like society in some ways, which is like who is appointing themselves the cops, and then like what are their motivations?
Yeah.
And where does that impulse come from in them? And that's, but also the song just fucking rips, dude. That guitar line is so sick, and it just this one never lets up the whole time. And it just like, this one just feels like kind of the culmination of all the sounds, all the guitar licks, all the sort of riffs kind of like coming together, and just like, it's catchy, it's fast, it's hard. This one just feels like what the record is about to me.
The guitar riff is so like post-punky. It sounds like an OC's record, right?
I don't listen to that band, but our bassist Matt loves this.
That checks out. Yeah.
does he?
Yeah.
I kind of thought this one might be kind of about crooked politicians. Did anyone else get that vibe?
Oh.
Well,
I can
same
see
thing
that.
though. Honestly, I mean,
think there's
that's
a common
yeah,
mentality
that's,
there.
Yeah, I thought it was
Yeah.
like, you're not the boss. You can't, like
giant man.
Yeah.
politicians telling you how to live,
Yeah.
and like,
Yeah.
but they're also being shitty and like.
I think you can find that on every level of society.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what's crazy about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think this record does a great job of everybody can relate to it because it's talking about subjects and types of people so broad that we all know one. You know what I
Yeah.
It is broad, yeah.
Oh, it's literally it's seen him before.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
one.
mean? Yeah.
He put it in there for us.
So it doesn't matter if this could be about your middle school fucking bully. You know what I mean? And that could have been your experience with this type of person.
Yeah.
Or it could be you're 25, or it could be you're a politician, or it could be your boss at work.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? That's it's brilliant how.
Your shitty boss at the lab.
Right.
Your
Yeah.
shitty boss at the lab.
It could be about this guy's boss, right? Who knows?
Another
Yeah.
double chorus here, which I don't know why that's not more common. If it's good, just do it twice.
Just do more of the good things.
Just do.
TM.
Or maybe it's not a chorus. He does just do one good part twice. Is there really even a chorus this song? This one's kind of like another full story through.
Kind of going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Impeccable lyrics.
Hey, guess what? I have a timestamp, Zach.
Yeah, do it.
I just called it delicious. So let's see what I meant by that.
That's what I had.
Yeah, you said that too?
No, I didn't.
He said tasty.
I said tasty.
I
I
said
do have-
scrumptious.
If I control F right now, tasty, it's going to come up like 10 different.
I think I just loved how airy that feels.
Yeah. It's a very driving bass line.
Yeah.
Really well produced.
Opens up real
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
And it's very floaty.
Yeah, because it's definitely an album that's heavy and just drives you with a lot of
Right.
shit.
Yeah.
So it feels like such a breath and also kind of a reflection lyrically on yeah, fuck you, man. You're not the boss of me, you fucking nasty ass bigot with some weird shit in your incognito tabs.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a bummer that people are like this.
Exactly. Yeah, because he's not
Yeah.
It
even
makes
mad
me
at these people. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's just mad that that's the world that's
Right.
been
Just
sort of
how-
like
is this it forever? Right?
Yeah,
yeah,
Is this what I have to see
yeah.
forever?
It's one of those really fucked up adult realizations where you're like, Man, I really do live in a society.
Yeah, this is a Joker album.
Why am I not?
No doubt. I can't even hide it. It's just what it is.
Why can't I just be in my fortress home?
Yeah, exactly.
Please.
Honestly,
Please.
bam, look at that.
Yeah,
What a
like,
callback.
please, like,
You're a
fucking-
podcast master, bro.
God damn.
No, literally. Speaking of safe spaces, what about a foam pit?
I do love a foam pit.
I love a foam pit.
We've been going to a lot of 4 and 5-year-old birthday parties at the
Yeah,
trampoline
an open
center.
gym.
Yeah.
Yup. Do you ever take your shoes off, put on your socks, and
A little
hop
bit.
in?
Yeah,
a
yeah.
little bit?
You gotta go and ask
As
the
a
person
treat.
for your socks, your
Your
adult
grippy
size socks. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I've
I'm
been
a cubby 6. Thank you.
When I heard this song, like I kept thinking about like foam as like a rabid
I did too.
animal.
I always think of
Oh.
like a big bathtub full of like foamy bubbles. Yeah, which is not quite the same thing either. But yeah.
I thought about those squares.
You thought about the squares and
like
like
a
someone
gym.
doing like acrobats into a foam pit.
As someone with a sibling who did gymnastics.
Or
That
who,
is
who else
very
uses it? Like
present.
dirt bikers and skateboarders, right?
No.
No. they use foam pits. I've seen Jackass.
Sure. The one note I had about this song was absolutely hell yes. I love corporate hardcore.
It's so anti-capitalist.
Yeah.
It's the most anti-work song on this album, I think, and I like it.
Yeah.
As someone with an
Yeah.
email job, I really thought this one was
Yeah.
delicious.
I remember listening to this song like the day that I got news that there was no work for however long because of COVID.
Yeah.
And I was like, please don't fire me. I really need a job. And I
Yeah.
listened to this and I was like, yes, this is it.
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about. I was just so like, there's no way you can fuck me over, right? Like, come on. So that's like, for some reason, that's like where my head always goes with this because it kind of came out like right before
Right
then.
before,
really.
yeah, 2018, 2019.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Another like cool through composition song, which also should be more of. Which you can't have more double choruses and through composition at the same time.
Hey, why not?
But because double chorus would like not be through composition.
Hey, why not?
Because that's not what like through
Do
composition
you have
is.
like a okay? I actually think about this a lot. So do you, as a musician, have like a preference? Do you feel like a through composition is more sophisticated or more sort of? I'm not asking you to put it in the spot. I'm just
Yeah. I like through composition, kind of like how we talked about like putting yourself in a box earlier, like challenging yourself to be like, hey, I'm not gonna write a verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. I'm just gonna like do this idea with lyrics all the way through.
Yeah.
I can't do one very good. I've
See, I
tried.
yeah.
I like it.
I find it easy.
I think the thing is it's like almost too easy for me sometimes. Where it's like you can just come up with like, but that's the approach you have. It's like my approach is like I write songs on an acoustic guitar with basically open chords, and it's like you can come up with whatever melodies. You just do shit endlessly. You know
Yeah,
what I
that's
mean?
me saying this as a drummer. I still find it easier.
Yeah.
I
His
prefer it.
instruments doesn't even make notes.
Yeah. We're talking about this.
But yeah, I mean,
I like it. I don't know. Maybe it's just a drums thing, but like coming back to the chorus, I'm like, fuck, I have to do this again
You
now.
did that already.
Like, yeah, fucking boring. Come on. Give me something. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm not sitting here trying to fucking go back.
But there must be a reason.
What a
People
dumb-
love choruses,
What a
right?
dumb mindset.
Yeah.
Going backwards.
Saying something again.
Yeah, you're unlocking whole new dimensions of our band.
I love it. I'm all
We're
about
gonna
it.
have only through composition songs now.
You're playing chess. Everyone else is playing checkers.
Joyce Manor, another great band that I love. They do that all the time.
Yeah.
It's like almost all through comp shit. Like,
yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I don't think you could like put out a radio single like that, but in an album, like here and there, beautiful. Yeah, great work.
I want 12 songs
Especially
of it.
if you can do it right and like tell the story and have an emotion and like without relying on the hook or
Yeah,
the melody.
yeah.
or the-
Yeah. Do you feel like this song or this album does that?
Oh,
well?
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. I like this album a lot. It's so much. Let's listen to this last line of this through composition at 1:49.
I'm so glad you mentioned it because it's my favorite line in the
Yeah.
whole song.
Yes.
It's my favorite line in the whole song.
I get chills.
Yeah.
What a good line.
It's so good. It's so good in the way that the drums cut out for a second and come back. Don't. Oh, it's so.
It's I appreciate your kind of approach to this as like an anti-capitalist record, and it's like making me. I've listened to it so many times. I'm already thinking about like new things where it's like, that like thrashing of the self against like just sort of corporate interests, or sort of like, even if your job isn't corporate, that feeling of just like you have to give something. Mm-hmm. You know, I talk about this a lot. Where it's like, I didn't. Yeah,
sorry. I couldn't stop.
Where it's like, you know, I like my current job, but a big part of what's helped me like ease into it is the idea that like that I don't have to give myself to this, but then you have to give yourself something. You know, like there's got to be something to fill that hole of like meaning in your life. And I'm like lucky to be in a band, you know, in that sense, because that's what that is for me, you know.
Hell yeah.
So that's like just a cool new. I'm sorry, I'm just appreciating this new sort of like approach.
Oh yeah,
or this new tack on this.
I don't know how you can like talk about poverty without also talking about like how awful things like capitalism are.
Oh right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm not political at all, but I'm not just like
Yeah.
But clearly one and the same.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Speaking of pipelines, there's the easiest one to connect to the entire world.
Like it sucks that people live so far below means.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to hear it expressed in this album.
And this is I'm a really big Patrick Kinlan fan, and this is like stuff he talks about is just like, I mean, the band kind of makes money, but like, you know, they're not like they're playing like, he's like, we love playing like 500. They're not trying to play like to 10,000 people, right?
Sure, yeah.
And all that stuff. So he's not even going at it with like he's like, I just want to do the thing I want to do and be happy doing it.
Yeah.
And that's awesome that like somebody is coming out from that standpoint. Is not, this isn't Bruno Mars isn't telling us. You know what I mean?
He's not playing a character
right
now.
This isn't fucking Bad Bunny's not being like, yo, by the way, or just, you know what I mean? Just somebody huge and massively successful being like, oh yeah, dude, like I don't. You sound like my guidance counselor in high school. I don't believe you.
Could you even talk about it if you didn't know that? Yeah. You have to kind of live that a little bit to get those bona fides.
Yeah.
Yeah. We liked Beyonce better when she was just getting cheated on.
Yeah, it feels
that was easier to digest.
It feels extra powerful coming from somebody who just told us about how he was stripping for money.
Yeah.
He didn't want
King
it
shit,
feels,
G. Good job.
He didn't want to.
It hits home. It feels connectable. Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. You better tie up that
man in the conflict of
that was really good.
A fellow man in the conflict mindedness of capitalism.
The conflict mindedness of capitalism.
Bum, bum, bum.
Isn't that crazy?
You've unlocked the next level.
I'm so good at this. Anyone else is allowed to do puns in the next song.
No, but you're so quick to the draw.
I like them.
You're doing.
I'm ready for them.
I was
born for this.
You keep a good pace.
Yes,
I'm the only one who can see the timestamp.
I never realized this was the first line to the song.
The lyrics are heavy. Read it.
Leave your Sentra in the tow lane.
Yep.
Yeah.
Think about all the cyclists. Think about all the Twitter cyclists who would be upset about that.
They'd be pissed. Yeah. They would kick the shit out of your car.
I've slapped a car before that tried to hit me crossing, and then the guy shoved me on the ground. But you know what? It was worth it.
Crazy story to me.
Read the third line. What does that line mean to you?
Pull the plug on mom's days early.
Are we going literal?
Is that what I think it means?
Oh yeah.
Yikes.
Well, this is a guy who's just always ready for a fight. Always ready for...
I don't think he's ready for it. I think he just feels like he gets it a lot. I'm a magnet for negativity.
He's just having a hard time and expressing it.
Yeah, I was born with a gift, a special ability. I catch most people's only on their worst days. So this guy either feels like he attracts all the bad shit in life, or that he invokes the bad shit in life, right? So it's one or the other. I feel
or is
like
it both?
He's cursed in a way.
Yeah.
Sounds like something I've told my therapist.
I mean, compositionally, this song is like peak what you're talking about, Zach, where it's like this song just goes and goes and goes until it just goes into the weirdest direction.
We get a new vocalist and we get some Spanish.
Who is this person?
I don't know.
That's a great question.
Couldn't find it.
I feel like they start this.
Either.
I feel like they start this on this, and then they really hone in and perfect this concept on their album after this, Hygiene, on the song Premium Offer, where there's a song in that song, like the melody is sung by like a female vocalist, and he kind of sings it with her, but in his sort of style. So it's like similar to what I was saying earlier, where like that melodic concept is like really in your face and abrupt and obvious, but like you still get to hear his version of that, like sort of in contrast to that. And this, I don't know how you come to this decision, but it's awesome. I love
It's
it.
so good. And the first few times I heard this, I obviously knew it was another language. And I live in Chicago. I've heard a lot of Spanish.
Yeah.
I didn't know this was Spanish at first because like the cadence that she was singing it in, who was singing this and what language is being sung in.
Yeah.
And the way she like, dun, 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 it's just very like blocky or like.
It's really interesting to hear somebody who's like, seems to be a
It's
trained,
like
if not like just good singer, sing his melodies.
Yeah, but it
And,
also
like, what
feels... Yeah, it feels so intentional to have like a language that is traditionally a romantic language that flows and it sounds sweet and sexy and nice, and to sing it so like chopped up, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is some Eastern European language. That's really what I thought. But it's Spanish, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the translation is, I advise you to get out of the way. I assure you that you will regret it. I am a lost cause.
Yeah.
That shit's sad.
Yeah. Really heavy lyricism.
Yeah.
But I like the change of pace of the female vocalist coming in and doing something like unique. We're like 24 minutes in now, 26 minutes in now. And like, whoa, like, oh, what is this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really grabs your ear.
It's what I love about any great album is this feeling of like, well, anything can kind of happen here, and like, but the way you're putting it, that they don't do this until so late in the record, and then the next song, which I think is in a lot of ways the weirdest song on the album, maybe not weird in terms of like composition, but just weird in terms of like how it fits with the rest of it. Now, no longer when you kind of get there. Not to segue too quickly. I'm so sorry, listener. It just sets it up in a way where you're like, you're kind of ready for anything at that point. And then they pull out the weirdest thing they can. The weirdest thing, I would say, it's the weirdest thing they can musically, and the most blunt and straightforward and just like fuck you lyrically that they can, which is like also a fun contrast.
We're into Tillery already?
If you want to go,
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Oh, man. This one's heavy too.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I like it a lot. This one gave me chills when I was listening for the first time. It was like big headphones, and I'm like, oh. Because this one's about the cops, right?
This is just about
Yeah, I mean,
people fucking with you. Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
It says Mr. Officer, but it doesn't specify what type of officer, right? Again,
Right.
it's broad,
Right. Like in a
Is-
way, it could kind of be like, not to get too cerebral, but like, what if Mr. Officer was God?
Right.
Ooh, there you go. Honestly,
Right.
But honestly, it's like you feel like what's the fucking lyric? Like my life's a pit or something is like one of the lyrics. Like my life's a pit. I feel cursed. I feel like everything's so fucked up. Like what the fuck did I do to deserve that, Mr. Officer?
Yeah.
Right. It could be any enemy, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's very easy to vilify the the police. We all know that.
Right.
Yeah, they're not doing themselves many favors.
Yeah. But I think that it could be anybody. It could be, I said this earlier, but it could be shit from your childhood. It could be shit from your 20s. It could be shit from your 50s. It could be shit you remembered
Could be
about 20 years
an
ago.
annoying person from work who's
Yeah.
always just like
Yeah.
kind of shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely had a Mr. Officer that I just worked with before. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Which is crazy. And it's like, it's insane how open-ended it is to me.
Yeah.
And that's why I think I connect with it so much, because I could listen to this song in 10 years and that character would change for me 100%. And I know it would.
I think that's such an interesting thing to bring up because I definitely have had that experience with other albums also.
Right. The fact that it's so open-ended, you can really truly fall in love with it. It's almost like having that feeling of like I wish I could read that book again, even though I've already read
Totally.
it. Some songs are good at that, where you kind of do that because of just time.
You attach
right?
whole new, not necessarily new emotions, but like new experiences
Right.
to it.
Yes, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And I think that shit is fucking brilliant. I think
Yes.
it's so great and it's so smart to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's why he's the best lyricist maybe I've ever listened to be honest with you. Like, he's up there in just terms of like, he really knows what he's doing about, it's reusable, it's re-listenable.
I appreciate that he never feels like he's trying to be like over the top. He's not trying to be aggressively like wordy, or he's not trying to be like too smart. But he's never lazy either. You know what I mean?
Right.
Everything
Yeah.
is precise and like intentional. Yeah.
It's very calculated.
Yeah.
But even the
still
music on it,
accessible.
yeah.
Still accessible.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's a skill that I truly wish I could possess kind of in any front of my life.
Uh-huh.
Like, calculated but accessible, no way. No way I could do that. But he does it, through all of his records, really. He's really, really, really smart with that stuff.
Yeah, totally. This one's kind of cool because we get a really long instrumental outro. And I wonder, I was going to ask you guys, like, what was the choice there? This is the longest instrumental break we get in the whole album, right?
Yeah, it's like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It almost just feels
Like, is it like a send off? Like,
kind of. It kind of feels like you're supposed to just like relax.
Yeah,
really,
honestly,
it really
decompress.
feels like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you just sat in a room with headphones on and listen to just this record and close your eyes, you fucking need that. Dude. Absolutely, you need that.
That's a great point. Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just gonna be left feeling some type of
Or just a feeling.
stronger.
Yeah, it's like, what else
emotion.
is there to say at that point?
Yeah.
What are my charges? What do you want to do? Do you have anything? Do you have anything against me, or am I free to go? That's kind of like where he's at. And then once
Kind of the walk away from the officer, right?
Yeah.
Like the empty, weird, vapid feeling of like, okay,
Yeah.
we agree, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you have to walk away or go to sleep or do whatever the fuck you have to do,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what it sounds like, right? It's like you're just like, all right.
Okay.
All right.
Let's
Well,
think
life
about that.
life is continuing, right?
Yeah.
Right. I'm still here.
I'm off my lunch break.
Yep.
Like, let's
Yep.
get back to it.
Yep.
May I
You may.
present a question?
Yes.
Sure.
What did you want to? Okay, because here's an interesting thing that he's making me think about. What did you want to tie to Taking Back Sunday in this record?
Taking Back Sunday does do a lot of lyricism like this, some through composition, some stuff that really like.
They have that whole thing on their first record. This is where. Can I just talk for a second?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is actually what you're here for, is to
Yeah.
talk for a lot of seconds.
First album, Taking Back Sunday, I think does a thing that is unique to them. Not in a way where like no other band has ever done this, but they do it just so well and so naturally. Where their songs just grow and live and breathe. And a lot of these songs don't have like final choruses. Maybe they have like 2 choruses early and then they go off into some other thing. And then there is just this feeling of you could say chaos, but it's like a controlled chaos. What do they say? What did Michael Cole used to say about Kofi Kingston? Controlled frenzy.
Sure.
You know, this feeling of just like you got like 5 20-year-olds in a room and like you're like, just make some music. And then it just kind of happens. And that's what this record does. I'd never have thought this until now, but like this record does have that to some extent where it is sort of like,
Yeah, there's an energy to it.
yeah. And it is like 4 guys just making music. And then they're like, they just trust this other guy enough to sing over it. And then when it comes together and you see it live, it's just like, oh yeah. Okay.
Oh fuck, it's my favorite band. to see live.
Yeah. It's the only band that makes me feel
I mean, if you
15
guys
years old
if you
again,
guys have
you know,
never seen them live, like you should totally do it.
I want to go so
it's-
bad, March 3rd.
Bro, it's fucking they're insane. Like it's
See them on March 3rd at the Bottom Lounge, and then
Bottom
Nora Marks
Lounge.
and Tommy Kessler, and Pretty Pleased at the G-Man on
At
March
the
4th.
G-Man on porch. Link in description.
Link in description.
Anything else to say about this last track before we get into a Rabruski?
I have to pee.
And we're back. Jug Church, we are excited to present you the license to have hot snakes.
Our most prestigious Rabruski yet.
Congratulations. Folks, thank you for making it through another episode with us. We are Album Brews, and we will continue to be Album Brews. If you want to check us out on Twitter and Instagram, it is at Album Brews. And if you want to take a look at our website, it is www.albumrebrews.com.
A giant thank you to our editor and theme song songwriter, Cameron Bop. Go check him out at Twitter at Cam Bop. Bop is B-O-P-P. He is a PP boy.
Yeah.
Get him.
Giant thank you to you, the listener, for hanging out with us for this second episode of 2023. We're so excited about it. More coming soon. A giant thank you to Matt and Michael from Nora Marks for coming on the show and hanging out with us. That was so much fun. Make sure to go follow them on Instagram at Nora Marks Music. You guys have some shows coming up. You want to tell the folks about it?
We do. I'll let brother Michael take it over.
Yes,
When
sir.
does this come out?
January 30th.
Nice. Okay. We've just had a show. Our next one is this Friday at Uncommon Ground. It's an acoustic show with Damager and Cut Your Losses, 2 of the best bands in Chicago. So hopefully tickets are sold out by the time this comes out. But if they're not, get yours now. They're $10. And then a week from that, February 10th, we're at the Beat Kitchen for the Anything Is Everything album release show with Totally Cash and OK Cool. And then 8 days after that, we're at Downstairs Sub T with the amazing Kangaroo Court, the amazing Diet Light, and the amazing Super Kick. That's going to be sick. $15. Tickets available at the link tree in our bio. And then we have a show a week after that, but I don't know if it's like a show or like a party, so I'm not going to promote it too much. and then a week after that, we're at the G-Man Tavern with Tommy Kessler. We're with Pretty Pleased. Tickets are $12, I think. That's March 4th.
The Tommy
Please come see
Kessler.
us. We love Tommy Kessler.
Album
Release
that we just
show.
plugged.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
So if you love Album Brews, you love Tommy Kessler, you love us. You're going to come see the
Yeah,
show.
period.
And then we're going to be in Akron, Ohio. We're going to be in Cleveland. That's March 24th and 25th.
The 25th is my birthday.
I think we're in.
Well, you got to be in Akron, Ohio?
No.
Yeah, you should go to Cleveland. I think we're in
I
Cleveland.
don't blame you.
Love y'all. Fuck that.
And then we're back in the city April 2nd at the book club with Totally Cash, North Warren, and the Scummies.
Hell yeah.
Did you go all the way through April?
I did.
Fuck.
That's delicious.
Check them out, y'all. You
Yeah.
got chances. You got
Yeah.
opportunities.
Yeah, no excuses.
And then we retire.
No
And then they're done.
Shit. Limited time only. Beyond plugs, is there anything else you want to say to the people before we go?
Thanks for listening to us.
Yeah, we love you guys. Everybody's great. Everybody's great out there. Thanks for having us, both of you.
Yeah, thank you.
Really
That's
appreciate
really
it.
fun.
Thank you, Patrick Hinlin, for being awesome. Thank you, Joe Church, for making such a great record.
Yes.
Thanks, Chicago music scene, for having us and hanging out with us. And
Real.
there's so many fucking bands we love that I'm not going to name any because I will forget somebody,
Yeah,
and
no,
I
not
fucking
worth
hate
it.
doing that.
Well, then with that, we're going to end the way that we end, where we get very close to the mic and ASMR style say a very gentle goodbye in the same order that we introduced ourselves. So, goodbye.
I did a sloppy science. Goodbye. Peace. Goodbye.
Watch Rocket Power before bed. I'm not scared to admit it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.